Arsenal may not be finished in the transfer market, and now one of the biggest names being linked with the Gunners is Victor Osimhen. The Nigerian striker is already one of the most recognizable goal scorers in European football. But Arsenal's interest has created one huge question. Are Arsenal actually preparing to make a move for Osimhen, or is this another transfer story that could disappear overnight? The latest reports have brought Osimhen back into the Arsenal conversation. And today, we're breaking down everything. The reported interest, the money, where Osimhen would fit, what could make the deal difficult, and whether Arsenal should actually go for him. Current reports say Arsenal remain in the market for additions, while Osimhen has been linked with the club and has publicly avoided committing himself to the speculation. Africa Top Sports +1. Let's start with the obvious. Victor Osimhen is not just another striker. He's the type of player whose name immediately changes the conversation around a club. He's powerful. He's aggressive. He attacks space. And when he's confident, he can be absolutely devastating in front of goal. That's exactly why Arsenal fans are interested. Arsenal already have a talented squad. They already have quality in midfield. They've already invested heavily in the team. But if there's one thing supporters always want more of, it's goals. And that's where Osimhen becomes fascinating. Imagine adding a striker with his physical presence to an Arsenal team that can already create chances. Suddenly, Arsenal wouldn't just be creating opportunities. They'd have another player capable of turning those opportunities into goals. The biggest argument for Osimhen is simple. He gives Arsenal another type of striker. Arsenal can play through midfield. They can move the ball around the opposition. They can create overloads. But sometimes you need someone who can simply attack the space behind the defense. Someone who can stretch defenders. Someone who can compete physically. Someone who can turn a half chance into a goal. Osimhen can potentially give Arteta that option. And that's important over a long season. Because there will be matches where Arsenal dominate possession but struggle to break through. There will be matches where the opponent sits deep. There will be matches where Arsenal need one moment of individual quality. That's when having a striker like Osimhen could become extremely valuable. But now we get to the difficult part, the money. Signing a striker of Osimhen's level isn't going to be cheap, and Arsenal have already spent heavily this summer. So the question isn't simply whether Arsenal can afford Osimhen. It's whether they believe spending that much money on another major attacking player is the best way to improve the squad. And there's another issue. The transfer window is still open, which means the situation can change quickly. A player can be linked with Arsenal today, and another club can completely change the situation tomorrow. That's why we're treating this as a transfer story, not a completed Arsenal signing. And that distinction is important. If you're enjoying this transfer breakdown, make sure you subscribe to GoalVerdict. We're following the biggest football stories, and, more importantly, we're looking at what these transfers actually mean. So if you want more Arsenal, Premier League, and transfer content, hit subscribe. Now, let's get into the biggest question. Would Osimhen actually fit Arsenal? This is where the transfer becomes really interesting. Arteta doesn't just need talented players. He needs players who fit his football. Osimhen's movement could give Arsenal a different attacking dimension. Imagine Arsenal controlling possession around the edge of the box, while Osimhen constantly threatens the space behind the defensive line. Defenders would have a decision to make. Step forward and leave space behind, or drop deeper and give Arsenal's midfielders more room. That's the tactical problem a striker like Osimhen can create. And if Arsenal already have creative players capable of finding that final pass, his movement could become extremely dangerous. But there's a catch. Arteta would have to make sure the entire attacking structure works around him. Signing a superstar doesn't automatically guarantee goals. And this is one of the most interesting parts of the story. If Arsenal actually signed Osimhen, who starts? What happens to the other attacking options? Does Arteta change his formation? Does someone move wide? Does Arsenal rotate more aggressively? Or does the signing create a completely new attacking hierarchy? That's the kind of problem every manager wants. But it's still a problem. Big players want to play, and Arsenal have to keep the squad balanced. So if Osimhen arrives, the story doesn't end with the announcement. That's when the tactical questions really begin. If Arsenal do get him, though, the impact could be enormous. Arsenal would have another major attacking weapon. They'd have more options against low blocks, more pace in behind, more physicality, and potentially more goals. But the most important thing might be competition. When a club has multiple quality attacking options, every player knows they have to perform. That can raise the level of the entire team. And for a club trying to stay at the top of the Premier League and compete in Europe, that depth can be priceless. So here's my verdict. If Arsenal can sign Victor Osimhen at the right price, I understand the move completely. He would give Arteta another elite attacking option and could solve problems that Arsenal have struggled with in certain matches. But Arsenal shouldn't panic buy. They shouldn't spend massive money simply because a superstar is available. The transfer has to make sense tactically and financially. And right now, that's the biggest question surrounding this story. Do Arsenal want Osimhen badly enough to make the numbers work? Now I want your verdict. Should Arsenal sign Victor Osimhen? Yes or a no? And if they do sign him, are Arsenal favorites to win the Premier League? Tell me what you think in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to GoalVerdict for more transfer news, football analysis, and the biggest stories in the game. I'll see you in the next one.